Welcome to the Wednesday edition of Liberty Lunch Break, the topic du jour. From Off the Wire, I'm your host, Noel Lynn, a.k.a. Cajun Libertarian. So what is the topic du jour for this fine Wednesday? And I hope you all are having an absolutely amazing Wednesday and just a great week. It's a hump day. Let's barrel through. Let's get it going. The topic du jour is FBI documents associate internet slang like based and red-pilled with extremism. Now, I'm sure that most of you have already heard some of this, but obviously, I have to talk about this. And we have to talk about it. So let's talk about it. But first, please like, share, subscribe, follow Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Please like, share the show. Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, basically anywhere you get Spotify. I can't forget that one. That's a big one, man. Spotify is blowing up. Apple Podcasts blowing up. The whole show is just going buck wild, man. It's crazy to me. So thank you so much for joining in and having so much fun with us. Please comment. We have an absolutely outstanding lunch show for you for a myriad of reasons. Not just the article here, right? That I'm sure you've already heard of. Not just that. We have other content like this. Let's hear a word from this particular sheriff. I think he's in Florida, and he's super based, which the FBI is not. Now, with that being said, there's always a clause to these things. As I've talked about, if you don't follow the show a lot, I got a lot of new listeners. Every single show, new listeners. Wild. Yeah, a lot of our politicians and these people, they find, and rightfully so, I guess, but it's kind of ruining some of our, policy making and implementation of the law in certain states or anywhere else for that matter. I'm not accusing this guy of doing that. All I'm saying simply is that it is a trending problem amongst our elected officials. I think he's a sheriff, which would make him an elected official. Sorry, I'm speaking a little bit too fast. I should probably slow down just a hair, but that is who I am. That is me in real life, because you get me in real life. So it is what it is. FBI documents associate internet slang like based and red-pilled with extremism. So let's check in with this very based, whom I believe to be a sheriff in Florida.
If that madman starts into your house of worship with a firearm, you can shoot him. Shoot him a lot so that you can read a newspaper through him.
It's outstanding. It really doesn't matter if he is doing it for clicks and likes and views, which obviously I do my stuff for clicks and likes and views, not predominantly, but it requires the necessity for clicks and likes and views, right? I do it so that we can move this needle back into the direction of freedom, if that is possible, which I think it is with enough of us sharing shows like this and participating and commenting below and being a part of the program, right? But it's great. It's great. Oh, it's great. Let's watch it again. I have to watch it again. Oh, man, it's so good.
If that madman starts into your house of worship with a firearm, you can shoot him. Shoot him a lot so that you can read a newspaper through him.
Yes, so you can read a newspaper through him. Look, regardless of whether or not this guy is like just doing this for internet fame, he's right. He's right. And if more officers in this country stood up for principles like this, the basic necessity for the Second Amendment right and your ability to protect your family and property, you wouldn't have cases like in Austin that just happened. We got to hold these DAs in check as well. And I'll be talking about the instance in Austin either not tonight, but probably tomorrow night. So there's that. All right. Let's get into the article. Man, that's a great video. New York Post, April 10th. New documents released Monday warn that common internet lingo is being associated with violent extremism. That's put in scare quotes, by the way. And that is coming from the FBI. Abolish the FBI. Look, Please, if you're a conservative and you watch this show, a lot of them do. I don't need to speak to libertarians for the most part. I don't need to speak to Democrats on this at all. Throw Sean Hannity in the freaking trash. Okay. People like that, they're not any good whatsoever. Just an absolute pile of excrement. No. I promise you, for your own mental health and well-being, I can't. Personal bias, anecdotal experience, self-projection. I get it. No Sean Hannity. No, absolutely not. The FBI needs to be completely eradicated. They've always been a domestic terror organization. As if I'm not already on a half a dozen or more watch lists. What's excuse me. Whatever. I mean, I don't. The CIA, the NSA, the ATF, the FBI, the DHS, the Department of Education, which is totally uncorrelated to the rest of these, other than the fact that it is a federal government agency, all need to go away now. They do not serve you or your family or your community or your nation, state, however you want to view that whatsoever. They're gone, they're lost, and they always have been. But now we're seeing people being red-pilled and understanding that. Looking at you, my FBI agent, I probably got multiple of you guys. Y'all are horrible people. You're horrible people. People like me are trying nothing more than to spread unity and peace throughout our country, to unify each other, and that's exactly the problem. That's the problem that you tyrannical entities, and it's an absolute historical precedent that people like you, quote unquote, brown shirts, the Stasi, Gestapo. It's just amazing. The only thing holding back absolute global tyranny and totalitarianism on this planet is the Second Amendment. Full stop. Like, literally. If you haven't caught on to the fact that at this point in time right now, that the United States of America constitutional Second Amendment is not what's holding back global totalitarianism, then I don't even know what to say. The entire globe is looking at us while they watch France and say, what in the hell is wrong with Americans? Well, one, for the same reason that, we aren't having to be subjected to that level of tyranny, is because we have our Second Amendment, right? Two, we don't have to fire a shot. You don't even have to carry a weapon outside in the streets. You could literally just realize the reality of power. And now understand that if I don't even know what percentage it would have to be. It's less than 10% of the 330 plus million Americans that live in this country could literally just say no. What could they do? What could they do? Nothing. Be peaceful, stay vigilant. We have an entire world to save at this point in regards to government totalitarianism and tyranny. The only person that can save you from the death and the grave is Jesus Christ. The only person that's going to save you from absolute destruction of what this wonderful, incredible democratic constitutional republic based on capitalism and Judeo-Christian values is you and your family. All right, enough of that. Let's go, because I have another video to show you, and you are going to love it. The Heritage Foundation's Oversight Project said it used a Freedom of Information Act, also known as FOIA, F-O-I-A, FOIA, Freedom of Information Act, FOIA Act, FOIA, no act needed there. That's reciprocal. Request to expose FBI documents to expose FBI documents that include glossaries showing that common internet slang has been flagged as an indication of, quote, involuntary celibate violent extremism, ICVE. Now, I was trying to make a joke there, but it didn't work. Or, quote, racially or ethnically motivated violent extremism. Part of the document refers specifically to incels, or those that are involuntarily celibate, whom the threat overview describes as possibly seeking to commit violence in support of their belief. Oh, well, let me back up because this part is important. I know I'd say quote unquote and all that, but it's important because I want you to hear what the FBI is actually saying here. I am quoting the FBI right now. Quote, commit violence in support of their beliefs that society unjustly denies them sexual or romantic attention, to which they believe they are entitled, end quote. So I did it again in the microphone. I am so sorry, y'all. The assessment notes, quote, while most incels do not engage in violence, some have been involved in, quote, at least 5 lethal attacks in the United States and Canada, end quote. Now, just cross-checking. Is the gender ideology movement being monitored? Because they've had like 5 mass shootings this year. Alone. No, I don't think so. Okay. Not to say that I want them on that list. I don't. These are individuals that are making these decisions, not collective groups of ideological nature or whatever, however you want to label it, right? That's irrelevant. These are individuals that make these decisions on their own accord. Spare me the collectivism. It's a cancer. All right. Many of the terms mentioned on or in the FBI's list of incel terminology, there you go again, are either widely used across the internet or innocuous in nature. The one term in the glossary is quote unquote red pill, which comes from the 1999 film The Matrix and has been used as a metaphor of seeing hidden or politically incorrect truths about the modern world, particularly when it comes to politics or dating. Now, we absolutely have to watch a clip from one of the greatest films, might I add, one of the greatest psychologically operative engineered films of all time. Here we go.
The Matrix is everywhere. It is all around us. Even now, in this very room. You can see it when you look out your window or when you turn on your television. You can feel it when you go to work, when you go to church, when you pay your taxes. It is the world that has been pulled over your eyes to blind you from the truth.
What truth?
That you are a slave, Neo. Like everyone else, you were born into bondage, born into a prison that you cannot smell or taste or touch. A prison for your mind. Unfortunately, no one can be told what the Matrix is. You have to see it for yourself. This is your last chance. After this, there is no turning back. You take the blue pill, the story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to believe. You take the red pill, you stay in Wonderland, and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes. Remember, all I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
Outstanding. One of the greatest films of all time. Hands down, no contest. There is no dispute as of that statement or declaration or analysis, whatever, however you want to call it. None whatsoever. All right, let's keep going. Oh my God. Now, obviously, when I get off of here, I got to go watch The Matrix because, that's such a great movie. The first Matrix. The first Matrix is one of the greatest movies ever made in the history of theater. Easily. The FBI list of key terms defines it as, quote, a belief shared by many online communities that society is corrupt and that the believer is a victim of this corruption, end quote. I don't know about like personally being a victim. That's horrible. Hate that idea. No, don't like it. Don't promote it whatsoever. However, I will say society as a whole, our country, our populace, our countrymen and women, yeah, absolutely believe we're victims of this. However, that victimization has come at our own demise, our own accord, our own wrongdoing. One of the greatest detriments to the Industrial Revolution is that we outsourced our political power to state actors in the name of representation and keeping up with the Joneses. That is a solid fact that I don't hear anybody else but me talking about. That is all me. Pat myself on the back, humble brag. It is all me reviewing history, reviewing. Okay, let's just talk about this. Do we or do we not have a multi-generational household society now? Obviously, we do not. So you lose all of that phenomenal generational wealth of information passed down because somewhere along the lines, i.e. the Industrial Revolution, we decided it was more important to keep up with the Joneses and make a career, leave the house at 18, go to academia, go to college, go, wherever, and make our own way. You can hate that. You can hate it, but that's a fact. Can you grow your own food? And even if the answer is yes, how many people can't? Can you go out into your yard and pick out your own medicine? If the answer is yes, answer to me. How many people cannot? You know how you get that information? Are you going to get that? Are you going to get that from a college professor? Obviously not. You get that from your grandparents and your great-grandparents. Greatest destruction, societal destruction, informative destruction this country's ever witnessed was the abandonment of the multi-generational household via, you got it, the Industrial Revolution. All right, let's keep going. Many of the terms listed are focused on self-improvement, on the struggle to reckon with marketplace of modern dating, the marketplace of modern dating. The glossary defines the term, quote unquote, Chad as a race-specific term. Really, this is from the FBI, quote, race-specific term used to describe the idealized version of a male who is very successful at getting sexual and romantic attention from women, end quote. Later noting, quote, incels unsuccessfully compete against Chads for attention. The list also included the term looks maxing. Now, that one is a new one. I keep up with all this crap. Like, I have to. Because I do this. Never heard of that one before. So let's find out what that means. Looks maxing. LOOKSMAXXING, which is defined in the document as the, quote, process of self-improvement with the intent to become more attractive. Just like red pill based, all these other ones, how is that an extremist position? And it has nothing to do with race. These people are completely out of control. They're completely out of control. We allowed this to happen. When it comes to the police state in America, looking at you, Republicans, the actual classical liberals, the Democrats, the 1990s Democrats like myself, before they went completely insane, and now we can have nothing to do with them. Yeah, we told you about this. We told you about it. We said it about the Patriot Act, and all of you know it, and you admit it now. So the next time we say, hey, don't do that thing, not talking about Democrats, not talking about progressives. They're the absolute cancer of our society. Don't do it. Just listen. All right, we got to wrap this up. The FBI list for terms associated with racially or ethnically motivated violent extremism, there's an acronym for it. It's called RMVE, has a mix of extreme terms and innocuous ones. Red pill also appears in this list, but with a different description. Quote, in the context of RMVE ideology, racially or ethnically motivated violent extremism. That couldn't be more further from the truth. Anyway, in regards to that ideology, taking the red pill or becoming red pill indicates the adoption of racist, anti-Semitic, or fascist beliefs. Quite literally not. On the most obvious level, not. That is not what that means. Based is defined by the FBI as a word used to, quote, refer to someone who has been converted to racist ideology. Again, unbelievable. Not even close. These people are so out of touch. Or as a way of indicating ideological agreement. Okay, but how's that extremism? Yes, I'll agree with that one. In regular parlance, based is a context-specific word coined by rapper Lil B that can mean as know your meme describes anything ranging from, quote, something that is agreeable and cool to something considered anti-woke, end quote. The list also includes the term LARPing, which was originally used to describe people engaged in live action role playing, LARP-ing. Often it's characters of high fantasy settings. Absolutely garbage. This is not going to stop until we demand it. Period. No violence, 100% peace. But it has to be us. Nobody's coming to save you. Jesus will save you from the death in the grave. You will save yourself from this absolute Gestapo brown shirt Stasi FBI garbage. And we'll leave it right there. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your Wednesday, and I will see you tomorrow. Same Cajun time, same Cajun channel. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. So far as I can stay on it. It's been an absolute honor hanging out with you every time. It really is. This was a fantastic show, I thought, in my opinion. Absolutely great. So please share it. Please let everyone know to come follow and hang out with us and get into the comment section. I love each and every one of you. Galatians 2:20, and I am out.